Throughout the universe, countless celestial bodies have been born, possessing powers so formidable that they can cause the very fabric of reality to unravel. In this chaos, deities emerged, devouring the sun and determining the fate of countless beings, ushering in a new era. Their presence did nothing but awe the world and its civilizations. However, their constant wars have brought everything to ruin, and the worlds are gradually sinking into destruction and conflict, teetering on the brink of collapse. In the countless worlds and kingdoms that have been decimated, a being emerged, imbued with the will of the world and a mission to repair the timeline. This being is known as the Wise Celestial System. Upon its birth, it knew its purpose, to find the right host to become the Wise One of the heavens and mend the decaying history of these worlds. It traversed time and space in search of a suitable candidate, but to no avail. But then, a notification reached it that the candidate had been found. It immediately journeyed to that point, traversing thousands of worlds and galaxies, until it found its host, a majestic man meditating in the vastness of space. The system, which in reality has no gender, but from its design, we can conclude that it is female, took the task of forming a contract with him and making him her master. It presented itself as the legendary Wise One of the celestial systems and promised to make him the strongest being. But it did not expect that this man was already a practitioner of the highest level. Upon seeing him face to face, it could see his statistics. His name is Chen Yi, and he is the strongest deity of all past worlds. It could not believe what was happening and how it could find a being that was hiding in these worlds. On his part, Chen Yi was reviewing the system that promised to make him the Wise One of the world, and that from now on it would be his aid to break the barriers of time. The Wise System, whom we will call Lu Yang, tried to escape while telling him to forgive her for interrupting his rest, but Chen Yi did not allow it. A screen appeared in front of him, and he saw people whom he thought were familiar. Most of the ancient emperors have fallen, although they were the most powerful in their times, and he has been traveling for decades back in time. He asked the system why it joined him and if it found it amusing. The system asked him, while kneeling, if he, as the most powerful deity, is willing to make her his host. Chen Yi accepted and told her to lead the way as he wanted to see if there was something interesting in the world. Meanwhile, in the realm of the human empire, a person tried to escape at all costs. This is decaying, the 9th princess of the Yuan dynasty, who held tightly a crystal and tried to escape at all costs with her subordinates, who told her that she shouldn't worry as once they pass the mountain, they will be safe. But it will not be so easy. The enemies that are chasing her attacked. These are the 12 guardians of the shadows of Bai Yujing, who asked her to surrender as she has destroyed meridians, has lost, and is poisoned. So, it is surprising that she has resisted relying on a spiritual stone so much. But when they are about to finish with her, Chen Yi dives into a tunnel of time and space, causing an opening through which he arrives until the empire of the humans. As he gazes upon Lu Yang, he tells her that since she cannot resist the pull of time, she should reside within his body. She resists, but he insists. After surveying the surroundings, he admires the human realm, which he has not set foot on for 100,000 years, and examines the image of the person he has come to find, who will become one of his apprentices and rise to great heights, dominating all the kingdoms of the world. He queries the system as to her whereabouts, but it informs him that its version is low and cannot confirm her exact location. On his end, Chen Yi manages to detect some weakening spiritual fluctuations and heads over to investigate. The Guardians of the Shadows are about to eliminate decaying and her protectors. One of them says that they are very loyal as they are willing to sacrifice their lives to safeguard their mistress, but they are nothing compared to them, and they will send them straight to their deaths. As they are about to expire and their hope has drastically dropped, a bright light descends from the sky, and a man of unparalleled bearing emerges from it. One of the Guardians of the Shadows asks who he is, but Chen Yi only confirms that his future disciple is present in this place. The leader tells him to get out of the way or he will be crushed. As Chen Yi is about to act, Lu Yang tells him that his world cannot withstand the level of his power. But he says that there is no problem and takes a stone, enveloping it with his spiritual power and defeating them with a single attack, leaving a devastating scene. decaying and her protectors cannot believe what is happening, and as she loses consciousness, she wonders who that man could be. On their end, her protectors thank him and tell him that she is the 9th princess of the Yuan dynasty. They also asked him to which sect he belongs. Chen Yi does not seem to care about this and only tries to see her face. Lu Yang confirms that she will be one of his disciples. The Guardians try to ask what he is doing, but he only says that he will take her away for now. Despite being told that she has been poisoned and has other problems, he just takes off flying. As he departs, they wonder who he is and decide to inform their majesty that the 9th princess has been taken by a mysterious Taoist. Chen Yi checks the girl's condition and indeed her meridians have been destroyed and she is poisoned. In the Yuan dynasty, in the city of Zhenyang, we see him using multiple healing herbs that have existed for many years to heal her. Meanwhile, Lu Yang says that the materials he is using are hard to find. Chen Yi comments that the poison has been expelled from her body and that although the meridians are broken, they are not difficult to repair. But since the girl's qualifications are so poor, he will do a bone marrow wash to strengthen her. Lu Yang asks if it is okay to use so many ingredients, but he changes the subject and tells them to talk about the system since he found decaying. He must have something useful for his growth. She opens a roulette and explains that it is a lottery. After spinning the roulette, she gets the purple sphere. Luyang goes to bring her prize, but Chen, not satisfied with this, inserts his hand into the system, breaking its barriers and obtaining the gold sphere. Luyang gets angry and tells him that he cannot do that because the system cannot withstand his power. He is a bit surprised and she tells him not to do it again. As tears stream down her face, Luyang expresses her concern that Chen Yi's actions could collapse the system. He assures her that he will keep it in mind and sends her to find clothes for Jai Fan, his new apprentice. Upon waking up, Jai Fan is confused as to her whereabouts, as the last thing she recalls is being protected by her guardians while being pursued by the shadow guards and a Taoist descending from the sky. After examining her meridians, Chen Yi finds that they are now fully healed. As she hears someone's voice, she is surprised, but he reassures her that he is her savior and that she should get into the water as she is currently unclothed. Embarrassed, she submerges and asks him who he is. Chen Yi explains to her that before answering that question, she should get dressed, and after a moment, they have a conversation. She expresses her gratitude and inquires as to why he saved her, as she is a cultivation waste. He tells her that there is no problem now that he has repaired her meridians and she is no longer a waste. She asks if he knows her identity and he reveals that she is the 9th princess of the empire and the only daughter of the Yellow Emperor. She had lost her cultivation and was reduced to a commoner, but the true reason for this was not due to problems with her cultivation. Through tears, Jai Fan tells him that even if he wants to use her as a means to negotiate with the dynasty, the royal family doesn't need someone like her. Chen Yi tells her that she already possesses great power and asks her if she wants to take revenge. She says yes, and he tells her that if she wants revenge, she will have to take him as her teacher. She prostrates herself before the overwhelming power before her, yet Luyang reminds Chen Yi that acceptance must be voluntary. Jai Fan reflects on the fact that even her father or the most powerful elder of the dynasty couldn't exert such a crushing pressure upon her soul. Chen Yi explains that he did her a favor on that mountain, having detoxified her body, cleaned her bone marrow, and repaired her meridians, and he is even willing to transmit his techniques to her so that she may take her revenge. If he had intended to harm her, he wouldn't have saved her in the first place. The title of 9th princess of the dynasty holds no significance in his eyes. Jai Fan doesn't fully trust him, as even in the barbarian lands, there are practitioners who use their disciples' bodies to make weapons. But Chen Yi assures her that despite her status as the emperor's daughter, her good appearance and pure lineage holds no importance to him. He poses the question of why she believes he took the trouble to cure her and take her as his disciple. She expresses her curiosity to know the answer, and he reveals that he doesn't accept students based on their qualifications, but rather on the destiny they possess. Without this destiny, they will never enter under his tutelage. He has never taken a student before and was only interested in her because of the destiny she holds. He won't force her. Instead, he will give her the choice between returning to being the 9th princess or becoming his disciple and recovering everything she has lost. After that, we see a grand palace where Jai Fan is cultivating and has apparently recovered all her power, something that fills her with pride and prompts her to go and tell her master. While this is happening, she reflects on the moment she made the decision to become his student and how out of nowhere he had created a huge Taoist palace where the spiritual energy was 100 times richer than in the sacred mountains. This is why she was able to return to the mortal realm in just 3 days. Her master must be someone extremely powerful. Chen Yi celebrates her progress. She says that thanks to everything he provided, she trusts that soon she will be able to forge a blue or purple spiritual ocean. Chen Yi expresses her satisfaction with her progress and acknowledges that the resources provided to her have given her confidence in achieving a blue or purple spiritual sea in the future. However, she is aware that the timing is not yet right. Despite the fact that her master only accepts students with destiny, she knows that the purple spiritual sea can only be cultivated by the most talented disciples in the sect, and currently, she only possesses a blue spiritual sea. Her master reminds her that while he does not base his acceptance of disciples solely on talent, he is still strict and that she should aim for the highest level, the golden spiritual sea. Luyang assigns her a new task, to assist her disciple in obtaining the emperor's legacy. He is the only one who can see her while her disciple throws a tantrum. He tells her that she must obtain it better, and they immediately go to a place to train the emperor's ruins. The scene changes and now we see them in an inn, and Jai Fan shows her different celebrities, such as Yu Qingshuan, who is at the top of the spiritual sea at 18 years old and is also a genius, and Lai Yanhan, who formed a purple spiritual sea at 18 and is at the top of that realm. Chen Yi pays no attention to this and says they are nothing surprising. Fan attempts to express that with her level of talent, she could become quite powerful, but Chen Yi expresses her disapproval by squeezing Fan's cheek. The scene introduces 2 characters, Jai Bo, the 3rd prince of the Xuanyang dynasty and Jai Fan's brother, and on the other hand, the leader of the White Jade Kingdom, Prince Bai Yujing. They engage in a conversation about the disappearance of the 9th princess, and Jai Bo claims that they sent their men to make his sister disappear, but Bai Yujing denies any involvement. Fan becomes upset upon hearing this conversation, but her master tells her that it is most likely that her brother is involved in what happened to her. She recognizes that this is a likelihood since he was the one who broke her meridians. He soothes her by stating that she must relinquish her hold on the past and gain wisdom from her errors, as it will not happen again with her guide by her side. No one in the entire universe could harm her as he is the only one who can instill fear in her. As they converse, a striking woman arrives and inquires Chenyi if she could join him and attempts to flirt with him. Jaikayan Fan recognizes who she is, the offspring of the Red Lotus Devil, Lai Hongsang. She tries to tempt Chenyi with her devilish allure and suggests that they go to a more private location. With this ability, she even drives the men around her insane with desire. In her mind, with her mastery of charm, even a monk would fall under her spell. And since the man in front of her is handsome, she desires him, but what she did not anticipate was for Chenyi to tell her to vacate his table. The men who were captivated by her stand up to defend her, telling him that it is an honor for them to be with someone like her. We see the two girls from before say that it will be a challenging battle since the members of the Red Lotus Devil clan are powerful, but they cannot see what the strength of Chenyi is because he does not have any trace of spiritual energy in his body. But apparently, there is an invisible barrier that surrounds him. Thus the members of the devilish sect may be misled. Jaikayan Fan becomes infuriated, but Chenyi urges her to remain composed. Using a single finger, he inscribes a seal on the table while remarking that anger should not be a motivator for cultivation, and so he will give them a lesson, even if they don't fear causing trouble and there are those who enjoy courting danger. If he encounters someone like that, he must teach them a lesson they will never forget. A massive lightning bolt descends from the heavens, striking the demonic cultivators, destroying nearly the entire inn and leaving all present in awe of this Taoist's power. Even the so-called prodigies couldn't discern how he accomplished it. Lai Hongsang's subordinates are about to remove her from the area while Jaikayan Fan admires her master's power. He tells her that it was only a random spell, and if she desires, he can teach it to her. She must observe the people in front of her, who are filled with fear, uncertainty, and panic. Today, he is stronger than them, and that's why they fear him. She must possess enough power to achieve something like this and become accustomed to those looks of fear, walking firmly with righteousness in her heart. Lu Yong tries to tell him that it's not the correct way to teach her, but Chenyi asks him if he has a problem with that. She calms down. A figure enters the scene. This is the city lord Zhen Yang, who inquires about who is responsible for the commotion. Chenyi states it was him and Jaikayan Fan informs him that the individual is Huo Shaeyang, a formidable person in the Zuozhang stage. In response, Shaeyang tells Chenyi that this is impossible, as those thunderbolts triggered a vision of heaven and earth that only appears when there are treasures or malevolent objects, and he prepares to attack him and uses an ocular ability to peer through him, arriving at an empty space and pondering what this place is. A large symbol of yin and yang emerges. This location does not appear to be an inner sea or a divine space. Chenyi is standing in front of him, emanating a vast amount of power, and manages to make his image within that world vanish. Huo is unable to comprehend what occurred and immediately apologizes for his presumption. Beijing appears horrified as the city lord employs his finest technique but is defeated in mere seconds, indicating that the Taoist's level of cultivation must be exceptionally high. However, even with the Empire's intelligence network, no one knows the identity of this person. Huo expresses gratitude to Chenyi for his mercy and is told that it's alright and that they are about to start, as the surrounding area begins to shake as the Emperor's ruins have seemingly opened. Everyone heads to the location where they discover a towering structure that only opens once every 50 years and holds countless treasures. Chenyi and his apprentice are no exception. People are astounded to see him there as well. But the Emperor's relics are alluring to everyone. Huo tries to explain that it is a place restricted for individuals above the divine realm, but Chenyi states that he is not there to enter but to give his apprentice a chance. Huo is taken aback and says that no one has received that legacy, but Chenyi says that as his chosen apprentice she will be able to do it. The Emperor's ruins begin to be visible, and Huo tells everyone that although this is a training place left by the Emperor, they should not take it lightly. All the people prepare to enter, and the elders of different sects make their entries and are surprised because the ruins opened earlier than expected.